From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, sometimes you have to tear down before you build back up. Tonight, we take you inside the rubble of a historic Billings building that holds promise for the future growth of the Magic City. Well, today was demo day at Big Sky Economic Development's new offices. The downtown space, although dusty now, is also filled with determination. Q2's Casey Conlon brings us tonight's rebound story.
This sign in the lobby of the new Rock 31 Entrepreneur Center says it all. Big Sky Economic Development hopes that this is the first step to build Billings' future. With the demolition of this first wall inside the historic Montana Bank building at the northeast corner of Sky Point, a project years in the making can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We're 10 months away from opening a fresh set of doors into a new space for entrepreneurs to connect.
The idea behind Rock 31 is a simple one: develop new business for the community. Entrepreneurs like Josh Tenyes, co-founder of Billings-based web software company Cardsetter, say this center is badly needed.
I think the number one thing is having space that's easy to have serendipitous sort of connections among entrepreneurs. If you have a bunch of offices, I don't think that that's really helpful. You have to build those relationships because relationships are important.
Right.
And sometimes it just takes being in the same space.
In 5 years, Cardsetter has gone from local to international because of that relationship building. It's a type of business Montana and Billings specifically isn't necessarily known for, but that's the point.
Oh, that feels good.
You never abandon those industries that are foundational, but you also have to be innovating and growing and changing and incentivizing new companies, other things that dovetail well with who we are, but start to change the character of our economy and create more diversity in our economy.
You know, look at Silicon Valley. The pillar industry that's there today was not there in 1970. It's completely different, and that's 50 years. So it's a significant amount of time, but that's kind of the time scale that we need to be thinking about. Is that where is Billings going to be in 50 years, and what can we do to help put the foundation in place to make that happen?
A foundation they hope to build on both the old and the new.
Efforts like this, building a center for entrepreneurship development and other amenities in our community, parks, trails, other things that we do, the redevelopment of the Alberta Bear Theater just a block away, all that adds to the character of who we are, that makes us attractive to retain our greatest talent and attract new talent, and that's what drives our economy.
An economy that evolves by the day. Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Thanks, Casey. Now the group hopes to open the new Rock 31 Center in May of 2022. Well, as we enter what could be a difficult fire season, down on Crow Agency, the Bureau of Indian Affairs welcomed an unusually small class of rookie wildland firefighters this year. As Q2's Victoria Hill reports, the group may be small, but the reason for stepping up carries a big meaning.
The first day on a new job is a momentous occasion. That's especially true for the 7 BIA Crow Fire rookies who were sent to the fire line on day one.
I thought we'd wait till like August or July, late, I didn't think we were gonna be working. And then that second day we were training, it was just like, what? Are we gonna be able to go?
The answer? Yes, as wildfire season on the Crow Reservation kicked off early with the buffalo pasture fire in the Bighorn Mountains.
We were expecting to wait for a little bit longer, but everything popped up.
And after 7 fast-paced days in rookie school,
we're pretty much at the last day, so yeah, we're getting in there.
Being sent to the front lines so early in the year is something that came as a surprise, even to veteran crew members.
Look like it's going to be an early fire season. Look like it started right now. Just recent years that we had hardly any moisture.
Especially up here in the Bighorns. I mean, we rarely ever get fires up here in the Bighorns, and it was a shock.
For members of the Crow tribe, the Bighorns are one of 3 mountain ranges within the reservation that these rookies now have the skills and knowledge to protect.
The wolves, the bighorns, and the priors, and they all hold a different significance for all of us. We like to think of them as sacred and where we can go to clear our heads and find meditation and peace. For a long time, these mountains have been really special to us.
Drawn to the mountains through a special connection and drawn to the job through a special bond.
My family has all been firefighters. My Kalas were the first female firefighters, so it's always been like a dream to like follow their footsteps.
Our grandpa joined a while back, then that inspired my dad to do it.
My dad, he started back in 1987, 1988. He did 7 seasons, and that's what really got me going.
My family has been doing it for a few generations now. My grandparents and my great-grandparents, as well as my uncle who's in Helitech, my great uncle who is a wildland firefighter also, and so I'm just trying to carry on the tradition.
Whether they do it for one season or make it a career, the possibilities begin with rookie school.
If they come to the rookie school, they'll find out if they like it or not. If they like it, they can make it a career out of it, just like me. When back in '93, I just tried it out, see how it was. But now, I made a career out of it, and I love my job.
In a fire season where they could use all the help they could get, interest is lacking.
My rookie year, man, there was like maybe 4 crews, and now seeing the rookies, we're getting less and less. Like last year, we had like 28 rookies, and this year there was only 7.
As the 7 get their first look at the scorched remains of Little Bull Elk Canyon, reality sets in as they become the next generation of wildland firefighters.
I've heard stories from family, friends that have all been doing this for 30-some years, and they tell me it's actually a lot of fun. You get to go a lot of places you've never been before, so I'd advise that if you like being outdoors in the wilderness and stuff and don't mind the heat, something to get into.
On the Crow Reservation, Victoria Hill, MTN News.
Thanks, Victoria. And Victoria also tells us as long as the fire doesn't spread to other parts of the mountain, the fire is actually helping replenish the forest floor and clean out old dead timber. Well, adding another 100 firefighters to the state's largest wildfire is making quite a difference. Crews are gaining ground on the Robertson Draw fire south of Red Lodge. Tonight, the fire is now more than 50% contained. That's up from just 15% on Sunday night. Firefighters today focused on putting out hot spots along the eastern side containment line and building a contingency fire line to the northwest. Evacuation warnings remain in effect south of Red Lodge and east of U.S. Highway 212, but all others have been lifted. Well, as firefighters gain ground on the fire, Cooney State Park is now open again. The reservoir was shut down Friday so aircraft could fill up and dump water on the flames. As of today, anglers, boaters, and swimmers can get right back in the water. Well, the sound of music will once again fill Pioneer Park. Q2's Russ Riesinger will MC Symphony in the Park on Sunday. So tonight he brings us a preview.
Definitely exciting to have the Billings Symphony back here in Pioneer Park this Sunday, not just for spectators who've had to go without live music, but also for the musicians who are happy to be performing again.
The Billings Symphony Orchestra has been making beautiful music since 1951. Sue Logan and Randy Tracy have been a part of that for decades, but their love of music started much earlier.
I just adored classical music. I loved it. From the first I ever heard it, I fell in love with it. And that's the key, because if you don't love it that much, you are not going to practice enough to make it.
Randy joined the symphony in 1985. Sue a little later. He plays violin, she plays oboe.
I just like the sound. Mostly musicians pick up instruments because they like the tone of that instrument, which is important, because if you're going to be practicing for hours by yourself and then playing,
you better like it.
You have to like what you're hearing, you know.
They're both glad to be back on stage performing in front of live audiences again.
It's nice.
I had some worries, you know, that I had maybe lost my mojo during 13 months of quarantining and only having Randy as a duet partner, you know. And so we got back for our first full orchestra rehearsal, you know, for the West Side Story production in May.
And both of us are like, "Now we're fine."
Yeah, and after about the first, you know, 5 or 10 minutes, like,
we're okay.
Like, no, this feels really familiar. Yeah,
we've done this before.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
It was a love of music that brought them together. They met in the late 70s while playing for an orchestra in Colorado. They've also inspired hundreds of young musicians through teaching. And they never tire of performing for others, something they'll do this Sunday at Symphony in the Park.
It's not just a good orchestra for a town this size. It's a good orchestra. It compares with towns much larger. We do fully professional, very difficult repertoire, and we do really good performances of it. And it's exhilarating to do that.
The fun gets started at 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. They'll have the instrument petting zoo, the kids conductor contest, and then the symphony takes the stage at 7 o'clock. Should be a fantastic evening of live music. At Pioneer Park in Billings, I'm Russ Friesinger reporting for MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Russ. So glad Symphony in the Park is back. Well, on a similar note, the Downtown Billings Alliance and the Pub Station are teaming up with Thirsty Street Brewing Company to bring back some summer sounds. The Downtown Summer Sound concert drew more than 3,000 concert goers for its debut in 2019. Now, that event will be pared down this summer with only 800 tickets available. The headliner this year is Ward Davis. Tickets can be purchased through the Downtown Billings and Pub Station websites. Gates open Saturday, July 31st at 5 p.m. The show is set to start at 6. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, a milestone week on the COVID-19 front. We dive into local and state numbers in tonight's Health Watch. Plus, later we'll tell you who really benefits from the state's tax cuts passed by the 2021 state legislature.
If I only had a nickel for every time I heard Ed, it's kind of hot out there today. Temperature hit 97, just 2 degrees shy of the record. We'll talk about the forecast coming up.